What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. If you're watching this in the brief window between when it finishes and this part gets edited out, what you're going to want to do is skip ahead to the 10-minute mark or so, because we're going to do some interactive stuff and some giveaways and some stuff like that. That being here in the future won't be very interesting for, but being here live will be a lot of fun. So to make sure that you're here live in the future, before you jump ahead to the 10-minute mark, click the subscribe button or whatever it is you do on whatever platform you're on. And for everybody else, let me know how the sound and picture quality is, and we'll get started in just a second while I try to get Instagram to work for once. And it looks like it will, so there's that.
All right, off to a good start.
Yeah. Not a lot of people here, though, so that's discouraging. Oh, there we go. Yeah, for those of you that are on, let us know how the sound and picture quality is. And in a minute, we're going to do some giveaways because I like to give you things. All right. Jessica says picture and sound quality is good. Wonderful. Everybody else is being shy, which is unfortunate because I like having interaction because I'm lonely. Not really, but I try to always say something clever there, and that was the first thing I could come up with in the moment. This is harder than it looks, folks. So let me go ahead. Maybe giving some stuff away will wake everybody up. So let's go ahead and get that set up. Shop. If you are here, though, say hello. We have some people on X and some people on Facebook and some people on, what's the video site? YouTube. It's been one of those kinds of days. So let me share my screen. And while we're doing that, I'll go ahead and see if I can't drum up some more interest. But in just a moment, we're going to be giving away some legit merchandise, which, as you all know, is the best thing that anyone can ever wear. It's literally the greatest items in the history of items, or something like that. I'm trying to lay it on thick here, and I'm just, the ball's going in the gutter. So what we'll be giving away here in a moment, and by the way, freshly redesigned. So thank you to our developer, Shaq, who took away that running joke from my live streams. I can no longer say that this is out of date, although I guess the merch could still use a bit of a refresh, at least the ones on the homepage. But beyond that, you would go up to Shop Our Gear, which does not mean performance-enhancing drugs, by the way. And you'll see we have a variety of different items available. If you feel so inclined to purchase something, you can certainly do that. But I'd rather you buy stuff from Legiit, if I'm being perfectly honest. This is just for promotional material for the most part. We have t-shirts and wine glasses. We got some coffee, a hoodie. There's a clock on here somewhere, mouse pad, lots of cool stuff. And we're going to be giving away a piece of it here in just a minute. So let's go ahead and get that started, and then I can kind of bring in some more folks. Today's keyword is going to be time. So type the word time in the chat or in the comments, wherever you're watching. And in about 5 minutes, I'm going to choose a winner of some legit merch. And while I'm doing that, I'm going to go out and try to generate up some more eyeballs for us. All right. Nobody saying time. I guess nobody wants our merch today. That's unusual because we have a decent amount of folks on. Wanjiku says, hello, Chris. Hello, Jim. Good to see you again. Always good to see you as well. Shannon says, hey there. Ahmad says, all the best, sir. Oh. People that make their Facebook name like a keyword so that they accidentally get tagged are the literal worst.
Yeah, I agree.
Naimul is dominating and being the only person that wants to win anything today. That kind of reminds me of, I hope he's not watching because he's still a good friend, but used to have this boss who, whenever we were trying to figure out how to do something, he would say at the end of it, he'd go, well, this will either work or it won't. And then when it either worked or didn't, he said, yeah, I knew it would either work or it wouldn't. And he didn't realize he was doing it, I don't think, but basically he was making it impossible to be wrong. And it reminds me of there being the one entrant today, because to put yourself in a position where you can't lose.
Hey, so while we're waiting, I have a question for you.
What's up?
Do you happen to have any plans, mid-September, maybe like around the 13th?
I don't know. What do you have going on?
I will actually be traveling to Myrtle Beach. I heard there's a conference going on called something about, it's not Legit. I think it's Legiit Live, if I remember correctly.
Oh, that sounds interesting. Can you tell us more about it?
Yeah. So from what I heard, it's well, I'll stop the spiel. But just for those who have not yet registered, we are putting on a conference, Legiit Live. It's going to be the 13th through the 15th September in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. And what we've done is kind of assembled a power team of people who have expertise in different areas related to growing your business and your personal life. So that's different things from SEO to advertising to time management to client retention. There's a ton of different topics all meant to help you level up in your professional life. And it's going to be a couple different days. So we have our VIP event happening on Friday. Then we have the conference itself, like the speakers, Saturday and Sunday. So it's going to be a weekend packed with good information, not the pitch fest. If you've ever been to a conference where you've just been sold other stuff the entire time, this is not that. We've very intentionally picked people who are going to go up there and provide actual value for you. So you can go there and walk away with not only the knowledge, but what I believe the most important part is the momentum and the networking. So while you're there, you're going to get to share the room with a lot of other people who are in the same industry, going through the same struggles, or who have been through those struggles before, where you can leave having a contact list of people who you can lean on to get inspiration from, bounce ideas off of, and help you level up. Plus, like I said, with the momentum of having had that weekend packed with all that learning and the skills and the mindset, and everything else, where you can hit that next week and really finish out, right? Which is the strongest part of most people's sales years, going into that fourth quarter with a lot of energy and momentum. So if you have not yet purchased your ticket for that, just a quick reminder, that is going to be the early bird specials that we have right now are going to be ending on July 31st. So, again, not a gimmick. I would highly, highly, highly recommend going to purchase that ticket now, because on August 1st, they will be pretty much doubling in price. So if you do want to attend, I would say, please go buy your ticket now. We also will be having a recording of that. For anyone who does get the VIP package, the recording is included. And again, if you hop in now to the early bird pricing, the price is crazy low. Otherwise, you can pay for it. It's just going to be a couple $100 after that. So definitely recommend jumping on that now while that's still in the early bird phase. Chris, anything I missed there?
If they wanted to learn more about it, what would the URL be?
I would go to legitlive.com. That's LEGIITLIVE.com.
Yeah, and the only other thing I would add is you'll go check that, and I already forgot what I was going to say. First of all, this is a shout out to our sponsors, Local Dominator and Map Pack Toolbox, as well as our agencies. And you can check out the hotel information, which you can get right there, which you'll get a discount if. And by the way, they are running out, and that's not scarcity marketer bullshit either. They are literally running out of rooms because Myrtle Beach is a fun place to go. And if you want to know more about that, you can come down here to entertainment, and you'll see. I can't get it. There's no way to get that on the screen with the thing there. And you'll see the different things that you can do there as well. And of course, there's lots of details about the venue itself, the hotel, the location, the tickets, the speaker, and a tentative schedule, although we still have some of these folks to add to that. And yeah, so that's that. So anyway, let's go ahead and choose our winner. And now we finally got some folks coming on. And notice we're right at the 10-minute mark, just like I said, because I manage my time correctly. The winner is Prabir Deb Nath. Congratulations, Prabir. What you're going to do is come over to shop.legit.com, choose the item that you want. If it's an item that's a piece of clothing, you're going to note what size you want, and then you're going to come over to Legit. And you can see one of my orders there, which is unfortunate, but it is what it is. And you're going to message into support and tell them that you won, tell them what you want, and then tell them the size and your mailing address, and they'll get that right out to you. So congratulations. Who was it? Prabir. So, all right. Like I said, it's important that you showed back those. Welcome back to those of you that we talked to in the beginning. You'll notice that it's right at the 10-minute mark that I brought everyone back and I was ready to go. That's because I manage my time efficiently and effectively. But that's a skill that you have to learn. It's not something that people just naturally know how to do, at least not in my experience. So it's something that we wanted to help give you a bit more of. And at Legit Live that Jim was just talking about, and I was just talking about, he's going to go into more depth. But today he wanted to give you a little bit of a tease on what he's going to be talking about. So I'm going to take it over to him. I'm sorry that you don't speak English natively, but I can't speak any slower. This is just how I talk. So I appreciate where you're coming from. I don't mean any disrespect by this, but I'm not going to be able to change how I talk. This is just how I talk. So anyhow, Jim, I'll toss it over to you. Do you need the screen?
No, we're good.
Okay.
Just make sure you turn on your closed caption. If you're watching on YouTube, you should be able to pull that up, and that'll help read along if you can. Otherwise, you could watch the recording and just watch it on a slower playback speed. There's my hacks for you to understand us a little bit better. But either way, I hope that helps. So today we wanted to talk a little bit about time, and the topic I want to talk about is work-life balance. It's a topic that a lot of people talk about, mostly from the perspective of they work too hard and they need more of work-life balance in their life. So what I want to really talk about here is how that is tremendously wrong and a mindset that is keeping you locked in that position where you feel like you're constantly overwhelmed, you're not getting enough stuff done, you are undervalued, you're stressed out. And what I want to give you in this time frame is some mindset shifts which you can use to help escape that. So let's start with the first thing in work-life balance. What is it? Is it real? The answer, in my opinion, is no. So what I want to say there is most people look at work-life balance as an excuse to stop working, to avoid the thing that they don't want to do, right? And to expand on that, a lot of people will only ever talk about work-life balance when they are in the middle of some stressful thing at work and they are looking for any reason to avoid it. They are going to say, I need more work-life balance. I'm going to go do something else in my personal life. I've worked hard enough. And 98% of the time, it's really just them utilizing a lack of work-life balance as an excuse to avoid the difficult stuff. So in a recent study, they found that 77% of people they surveyed have experienced depression or burnout at work. And more than half of those have experienced it on more than one occasion. And so can you imagine 77% of the people that they talk to admit that during their working experience, they feel depression and burnout. That doesn't seem like something that would be a good thing. To me, I can understand why if you're in a position where you feel depressed or unmotivated or burned out, where you want to look for any possible thing you can do to avoid that scenario and go find joy and happiness and relief somewhere else. So what winds up happening is you start to look at work-life balance as this thing because, hey, you're unhappy in this current position you're at. So you look at, man, what can I do to get out of this position of pain and uncomfort? Where can I go? And you shift, you basically drop everything at work and you just go do something else. You go watch a movie, you go for a walk, you go take a day off, you call in sick, you go to a sports game, you do something else. Doesn't solve your problem because you eventually have to go back to that work scenario and deal with that stress that you left there. So this idea of work-life balance that people talk about, where you imagine balance, you look at two sides of a scale. When you put weight on one side, what happens is it lifts up the other side. So now you're putting time into your personal life and it's adding stress into your work life, because the thing that you're not solving over here isn't just going to go away by itself. You need to eventually solve that. And the more time you spend avoiding it, the bigger problem it becomes. So what I want to invite you to do instead is look at work-life harmony. Okay. And it might sound like a dumb little shift to change balance to harmony, but think about it this way. If you've ever heard the expression, find the job you love and you'll never work a day in your life, it's legitimately true. It doesn't feel like work, right? People who operate from that, who have something in their life where they receive joy and satisfaction from the work that they do not live in this work-life balance scenario, because there is no technical difference to them in the joy they receive between working and not working. For them, working is enjoyment. It is something that they do for fun. They receive joy and satisfaction and happiness from doing their work. So these are people who have experienced that work-life harmony where everything is kind of working together to give them that satisfaction, right? And that's what we need to look for. We need to look for the harmony, not the balance. And it is really difficult to get to that spot if you are stuck in the work-life balance mode where you're constantly under stress, you're struggling to get your to-do list done, where you feel like you're constantly waking up every day where you've got 40 things to do, but you only have capacity for 10. And you're stressed all day long. And then you go to sleep stressed, worrying about tomorrow. You wake up and you still have another 30 things to do. And understanding that managing your time, things like time blocking, things like using a Pomodoro tactic to kind of get things done quickly and efficiently. Right? And there's a ton of different things that we can talk about with how to manage and block your time. A lot of them we'll talk about at Legiit Live. So this is not meant to be an exhaustive lesson in everything you could possibly ever need to know about time management. What I want to do here is give you some quick, brief understanding of how time and time mastery can really help you level up the quality of your life, where you can remove the stress, where you can remove the worry, the anxiety, the depression that comes with feeling like work is a burden, feeling like there's always something hanging over your head that you need to do, where you can't ever relax and just be yourself. Because it's a terrible spot to be. Nobody wants to feel like you're constantly under stress. You're constantly on a deadline. You can't ever relax. You can't take a deep breath. You can't take a day off. You're worried that every time the phone rings, it's going to be a problem, or you're afraid to open your email because there's always going to be a bill or an angry client or someone who's upset with you or some kind of problem, right? So if you can imagine going through your life constantly nervous that every time someone interacts with you, it's going to be a problem, you'd be on edge. You'd be unhappy. And that's a terrible way to live. And what happens in that scenario is your physical health starts to decline, because that stress takes an actual physical toll on your body, and your health will decline. Your relationships will start to decline because nobody wants to be around someone who's unhappy all the time. You don't even want to be around yourself. You start to become anxious and depressed. And all of this comes from a lack of dealing with the thing that's the root cause, right? So you just claiming work-life balance and going to escape work, taking a sick day, going to watch a movie or play a video game, and just avoiding the problem is just delaying it, right? And a good friend of mine says, conflict delayed is conflict multiplied. And so what that means is every time you delay a conflict, every time you push off dealing with something, you're not solving the problem. You're just letting that problem build and build and build to the point where eventually you're going to have to face it. And it's never going to be smaller. It's only going to grow the less you pay attention to it. So what we want to do, and these are the things, like I said, the tools and techniques which we'll cover a little bit more in depth at our event, is how to physically handle these things, how to unpack the stresses that come with your everyday life and your 9-to-5 job or whatever comes in the course of your day. But the big thing that I want to really talk about here is, like I said, that work-life balance versus the work-life harmony, and trying to figure out how you can put yourself in a position where work and life are the same. Okay, where you can live a life where, hey, if you need to take a quick time out to do something, you've got a family event coming up, you can be there. right? Where you have mastery, not just in business, where success isn't just measured by your bank account, but the health of your physical fitness, the health of your spiritual fitness, the health of your relational fitness, right? So all of these things you should have mastery in, not just be great at a job, taking home a good paycheck, and then sitting there with self-doubt and lack of self-confidence and depression and anxiety and feeling like, man, it sucks that today is only Tuesday and I have 4 more days left of the week to go through. You shouldn't be living for the weekends, right? And if that's a thing that's happening, because there was a period in time where I did that, and I know there's a lot of people who do that currently, it sucks. And what I want to do is give you the tools and techniques to avoid that, because no one should have to live their life like that, right? You're not promised tomorrow. Okay. For me here today, it's Wednesday. I'm not promised to see Thursday. So if I'm just getting through today, thinking about, all right, well, I've got 4 more things on my to-do list, and I know this customer is going to look for an update for me tomorrow, and I got to get that done and this done. You wind up just going through the motions, and you're not living a life. And you're just trusting that you live another couple days till you get to Saturday where people stop complaining. You could eventually feel like you can take your foot off the gas a little bit and have a life where you can relax, where you can try and make up for the 5 days of stress you experience Monday to Friday in that same 2-day period, Saturday to Sunday. And it doesn't work. You wind up going back and forth, this yo-yoing, and ultimately what it leads to increased depression, increased anxiety, increased stress, and a life that you don't want to live, right? And that sucks. And what I really want to emphasize here is that's not normal. Let me rephrase. It's normal in the sense that a lot of people experience that. Okay, so a lot of people go through that. Unfortunately, that is a normal thing for people to experience. That's not optimal. Okay, that's not what you want your normal to be. You want your normal to be the optimal state where you wake up every day excited, happy, that it's just life. That, yeah, you're going to have to do some work today, but it's cool. You enjoy that. That your entire experience, from the minute you wake up to the minute you go to bed, you experience joy. Okay, and that joy part is going to create so much more positive effects in your life. The joy is going to be reflected in the quality of your work. Think about it. If you are enjoying what you do, if you are truly happy, do you think you do better work or worse work? The answer is pretty obvious to me. You do better work. You produce better results when they are from joy, when they're from happiness, when you are in a good, positive state, right? It's this cycle that once you get into joy and seeing the bright side of everything, you can operate from that position of power and that position of happiness, and your output continues to be better. And the more better work you do, the happier you are, right? And this is not to say that you're not going to experience stress. You're not going to experience frustration. You're not going to experience days of frustration and doubt, because they still happen. Okay, there are still plenty of times where no matter how much joy I personally put into what I do, you're going to get punched in the face sometimes. You're going to have days where you struggle, where you don't feel like doing it. But there are tips and techniques. Like I said, there are ways to go about making yourself understand, hey, this is temporary. Or looking at, man, of all the times I've had this feeling of frustration and anxiety in my life before, this has been the end result. So you start to develop these techniques to work through it, where you realize the thing I'm feeling right now is temporary. And you understand how to work through it and use it for good. Okay, so again, I don't want to make it seem like if you're in a position where you've been frustrated or you have some self-doubt or some anxiety, you're broken. Okay, you're a normal person. It happens to the best of us. But what I don't want you to do is I don't want you to have to stay there. I want you to understand there's a better way to do this, where you can wake up every day and be happy that it's whatever day of the week it is. Not because you have to go to work, right? Feeling like it's Sunday night and you've wasted your entire weekend and you didn't get as much joy and satisfaction out of this, and now you're upset because you're going to bed and you wake up tomorrow and it's a work day. That's not the right way to live. And for a lot of us, that's what every day is like. A lot of us have grown up in an experience where our parents just did that every day, right? It was Monday to Friday, 9 to 5. That's what normal life was. You work for the first 65 years of your life, and eventually you retire, and then you can start living after that. But the major flaw in that is A, it's not guaranteed. B, you're taking up the majority of your most functional and useful years of your life, putting yourself in a position where you can't actually enjoy the things that you're meant to enjoy. And what it winds up doing is just creating this culture where we are not having fun. We're not enjoying the things that we're supposed to be doing. We're not living life. Okay, we are technically alive. We're here. We're doing stuff. But what have we done? Right? What memories have we made? What impact have we created? Have we created a legacy? For most people, no. You've just traded your time for money to pay some bills so that you could do it again next month. That's not life. That's not what this is supposed to be like. So I know that a lot of us have this experience because that's how we were raised. That's how we were born. That's just the experience that we've been shown for a lot of years. But what I want you to see is that there's another way to do this where you do not have to live this life like you are stuck working Monday to Friday from 9 to 5, trading your time for money so that you can pay some bills. You can just do it again next month and do it for 45 years straight till eventually the point where you can retire by the time you could barely walk and enjoy your life. That's not what this is supposed to be like. Right? I want you to have the tools and techniques that you need to be able to wake up every freaking day excited to just be alive, to be grateful, to be full of joy, to experience happiness, to be able to just have fun. Right? This is supposed to be life. It's supposed to be enjoyable. It's supposed to be full of love and joy, not regret and sadness and depression and anxiety. It's not a way to live. And again, I know I'm kind of going through a lot of things pretty quickly in this time span. It's kind of tough to cover this in depth, which again, more of the reason why I'm encouraging you to spend the time, go to the event, right? Be there in person. We can cover these topics and we can stand aside and say, hey, Jim, this is the thing I'm going through. Let's talk about it. It's what I mentioned before in the power of the networking. You're sharing the room with these people. If you have a personal experience you want to talk about it, right? Because I understand what I'm saying here sounds great in theory, but from a position of you have a 9 to 5 job, you have a business you created, you're a business owner, and you don't know how to escape feeling like you're on call 24/7. We can have the conversation. Right? It's nearly impossible to speak one-to-one in this type of environment just because of how this stream works. But you show up at an event, the energy in person is different. You can have the conversation. We can talk about, hey, this is where I'm at. This is where I want to go. These are my struggles. These are my problems, and come up with some solutions. Like, you're not the only person to ever be in this position. And that's great news. It means that other people have been in this position before and found things that worked and didn't work. So what I want you to understand is work-life balance is not the goal. Harmony is the goal. Waking up every day where you feel like you are happy to be alive is the goal. Not feeling like you're stressed that it's a work day. And I want you to seriously consider everything you can do to be there in person, to have this conversation a little bit more in depth, because this is the type of stuff that we want you to have as tools and techniques and skills in your toolkit to be able to level up, right? Making money, building a business is fun, but it's not very fun if you don't enjoy it. It's not very fun if you're missing out on all those experiences. It's not very fun if you don't get to actually spend some of the money that you made, if you don't get to spend some of the freedom that you've built with friends and family and having these experiences. It's, what are you trading for? You're trading some of the best years of your life for what? And that's what I want to encourage you to do, is to think about that and think about, if I'm going to make this investment in myself, how do I maximize it? How do I build the life where I can wake up every day and be excited for it? Where I can want to take a day off to go do a thing? I can, because I built this system in place to be able to control that. I have the processes in place. I have the people in place. I'm able to do this in a position where I don't feel stuck to my phone all day. I don't feel like I have to be constantly on high alert that there's going to be a problem that only I can fix, right? You're able to build a life where you can have the systems and processes in place so that if a problem happens, you've got a team, you've got a system, you've got some stuff that's going to handle it, right? And that's what this is about. It's about creating the life with intentionality and purpose that you can build joy, you can build happiness, you can leave a legacy, you can do something important with it, not just survive until you're in the ground. That's not what this is about. So I know I've rambled for a while. If you have questions on this, I please encourage you to write them. I'd love to talk through some specific examples with you. Maybe there's a struggle that you have with how to manage your schedule, how to figure out how to find joy in your current life. Ask. And if it's a question you're not comfortable with asking directly in this live stream and putting your name to, shoot a DM. Let's talk about it. But I really encourage everyone to spend the time and figure out, are you living a life where you are happy every day? And again, I don't want to pretend that everyone's happy 24 hours of the day, right? It's not real life, but it should be 95% of it, right? You're still going to deal with some struggle. You're still going to deal with some problems. It comes with the territory. The higher you get in business, the more your business grows, the problems are going to scale with it. But as are your skills, at least they should be. You should be growing your skill set where, yeah, you're going to get more and bigger problems. The bigger that you grow your business, the bigger that you elevate your life. But you've also elevated the skills and techniques and the network and the ability to solve those problems a little bit quicker and with a little bit more skill and expertise. So those things need to grow in tandem with each other. And this, again, more the reason why we have events like this, where you can look at, hey, how do I grow my skills? How do I become a better version of myself, both personally and professionally, so that you can live a life where you can actually live it. You can enjoy it, have fun, right? We all talk about being a business owner because of the freedoms that come with owning your own business, being able to do all this stuff. But it tremendously hinges on your ability to actually implement the skills and techniques to do it effectively. There are plenty of people who start a business because their sole focus is the money aspect, not the service aspect of the business. They just want to start a business to have money. They're going to be indebted to that business for the rest of their lives, right? This is not the way to live. But there are ways to do it effectively. There are ways to do it properly. There are ways to do it where you are not stuck to that business. And that's what we want to teach you. So I'll stop talking for a second so I can grab a drink. Chris, did I miss anything? Do you have questions? I didn't read through questions in the chat. If there are any, we can cover. Rabi says, man, I needed to learn more about this to manage my time. Thank you, Jim. You are quite welcome. Yeah, if you have any specific questions on that, please feel free to let me know. I'll be happy to talk a little bit more in depth about those.
So I was talking that whole time. I guess I wasn't on the stage.
No, you were. I couldn't hear you. You're muted.
Okay. Weird. All right. All right. Well, the next one was I uninstalled Facebook app from my mobile because it was distracting me and wasting my time. So now only using an Office when reaching at Office.
Good idea.
Sir, please guide how to deal with a client who shows a rude attitude and blackmails to give negative review. So basically they did something for someone and I guess they wanted more, or they would leave them a negative review. How would you deal with that?
I would let them leave you a negative review. I wouldn't, you can only do so much. When you start negotiating with someone who's going to try and do that, you're going to be constantly in a position of trying to match their energy, match their demands. And it's a very downward spiral. So what you have to do is, like we talked about last week and have a good reputation, is you have to do the right thing. You do the right thing, you take care of the client. If they're unhappy with the results for some reason, there's only so much you can do. You did what you were supposed to do. If you delivered on your promises and you did what you were supposed to do and they're unhappy with it for some reason, you try and satisfy them. And if you can't match their needs, there's only so much you can do, right? Some people will always be unhappy with you. And if they're going to leave a negative review for you, let it be. Let them leave the review. You give your response and keep it moving. Yeah. Like we talked about last week, there are always going to be people who are going to be unhappy with something no matter what. You can't live your life worried or feeling like you have to change your entire system and process or cater to them. You will be operating from a position of defense the entire time. So look, it happens. What you can do is let them leave their angry review, respond to it properly, share your side of the story, do the right thing, and then just maybe make sure you do a better job in the future of identifying those types of clients before you start to work with them. So you look at sort of what their demands and needs are ahead of time and see if you can avoid taking on that same type of client again.
If that was on a marketplace, well, I can't speak for the other ones, but if that was on ours and they are legitimately blackmailing you saying, if you don't do extra work, we will leave you a negative review, you can come to our support team and we will investigate it and take the right action based on the facts. We don't automatically support one side or the other, but we also don't allow shit like that on our platform either. So all the more reason that you should be using Legiit instead of trying to do it on your own.
Agreed.
Because I can twist anything to a sale. Anise says, amazing session, Boss Jim. Thanks. I'm going to start calling you Boss Jim. Thanks for sharing amazing tips for managing time.
You're welcome.
Randy says, hey, no, he said, Randy, the news guy, there's your plug, says, hey guys, sorry I'm late. You're not late. You're Randy. And that, my friends, is a platinum dad joke. Yes, I saw that ahead of time and pulled that GIF up to be ready for it because that's the kind of entertainment you get here. That's pretty much it for the questions, at least for the moment. If you have any other questions about what Jim talked about today or the event, let us know and we will answer them because that's what you do with questions. You answer them. And a lot of times I ignore them too because I get some really dumb questions. I'm sure you do too.
Sure do.
Yeah, I feel like I should get a super chat for that dad joke, but you know, your mileage may vary. Randy is someone I'm going to be doing a live stream with on his channel on the 30th. I believe it's the 30th because it's after I come back from Heaven on Earth, which is Las Vegas next week. I'm going to find Randy's channel right now because Randy is also a speaker at Legiit Live. Look at that handsome devil right there. Not me. I can get why that's what you assumed, but I'm talking about Randy in this particular case. One of the keys to being a successful press release provider, by the way, on Legiit, is to have a picture of yourself holding a cup of coffee. If you notice, like our top two press release salesmen, I'll have a picture of them holding a cup of coffee. It's like a rite of passage or some shit. So, yeah, Randy, I will be talking. I don't know. I don't want to speak for Randy, but I believe he's going to be talking about something to do with PR at the event. Let me bring up his channel so we can support our people. Yeah, Randy, the news guy. You can see he had Mads Singer on, who I also had on a while ago. And I believe I've been on this channel before, but I don't recall. But yeah, so check him out. Check him out on at Randy, the news guy on YouTube. Or on Legiit at 38 Digital Market. Hot off the press with Chris Walker. Please put the M in there because otherwise we're going to get the musician and we don't want that unless, you know, he's going to be on too, but that seems unlikely. So let's bring this back up so we can start selling you again. Any more questions or anything to add? I don't really know that we can really go too much further into depth, but one thing that's not listed here on the site yet is something we're going to be unveiling at the conference. Do you want to tell us a little bit about that?
Sure, I'd love to. And the reason why it's not on the site yet is because I will admit I'm having a struggle trying to figure out how to share what it is without giving it all away because what it is awesome. I've been working on this particular technology for a few months now at this point, and been playing with it behind the scenes. And it's even cooler than I could have expected. So I'm trying to figure out how to give you a good tease without giving away too much, because we are going to be giving it to all of our attendees ahead of time. So anyone who is at Legiit Live will get it before the general public. So there's a nice little perk for you. But what it is something that we've identified as a functionality that we and only we can offer, and that will likely save you at least 10 to 15 hours per month of hands-on time, and give you the knowledge and experience that literally you can't even buy. So to try and make that a little bit more concise, as a business owner, if you own a business, operate any business, what it's going to do is it's going to give you the time efficiency and the knowledge that is literally unavailable anywhere else. So you can get a massive advantage over other people who just don't have access to it.
The technology, the talent, the training, and the tracking you need.
Bingo.
Robbie says, manage multiple businesses and teams and sometimes feel overwhelmed wearing multiple hats per day. Question is, how do you manage your blocks calendar for multiple businesses or teams? I have an answer that you're not going to like probably, but I'm going to let Jim answer it too.
Sure. So two things to add on that. Number one is where you mentioned wearing multiple hats. What I'd recommend when I get this question is wearing only one hat. And just to expand upon that, if you have to operate and show up differently in different environments, it's exhausting. It's really hard for you to be a different version of yourself every place you show up. So if you can align your businesses with your core values, with the way that you operate in your family, with all those different things, so you basically just show up as you. You don't have to wear all these different hats. You don't have to be these different personalities, these different types of people everywhere you go, but you are just you, and you operate your businesses the same way you would operate your household. It takes a lot of the pressure off of you to have to think about, how am I supposed to act in this scenario or in this business? Because you're just yourself and you show up the same way, no matter whether you're talking to an employee or a family member. You have the same tone, the same core values in each spot. So that's the first thing I'd love to mention, is just operating from a position of wearing only one hat, not trying to be multiple different people. But obviously there are different needs. So sometimes you may need to be the accountant. Sometimes you might need to be the human resources person. Sometimes you might need to be the advertising person. What I'd recommend is not doing that. And I know that's super tough as you're starting out multiple businesses. Do what you can to figure out what your gifting is and operate within that gifting. If it's an area that is outside of that, delegate it to someone else. Go on Legit, hire a freelancer, hire an in-person person to work for you, even if they only work a couple hours a week. But do your best to operate only within your gift, and be really diligent about knowing where your boundaries are and operating within those. A lot of times as a business owner, as an entrepreneur, we want to say yes to everything. And we try and push our boundaries a little bit. When a customer comes in and says, hey, can you do X, Y, and Z? It's a little bit outside of what you normally do. Usually we're like, yeah, we'll say yes to everything and we'll figure it out as we go. But what winds up happening is you don't have the systems and processes in place to handle that. And you have to create them, which takes even more time. And then the customer service experience is often not as ideal because it's not a thing you've done before. So you're dedicating a whole lot of extra time to doing this thing that you really should have just said no to in the first place. You think about, I don't want to turn down the money, but when you look backwards at it and realize you spent 4 times the amount of time on it, it's not worth it. As for blocking out time in your calendar, you have to be diligent and really disciplined about blocking out time in your calendar. And what I mean really disciplined, I'm not saying you have to have like an alarm clock that you walk around with that says, all right, it's 7:15 a.m. It's time to brush your teeth. But I will say you should consider the amount of time it takes you to shower and brush your teeth in your schedule. So if you only have 18 hours a day of waking time to do the stuff that you need to do, you still need to consider your hygiene, your meals, your exercise. Block out that time on the calendar. That will leave you with an understanding of how much time you have left, and revisit that often, and make sure you block out time. Usually the earlier in the day, the better. So you get the big rock items done first, the things that are going to move the needle forward in your business. Do those first before the day gets away from you and 5 other things pull your attention. But block out time, right? Go on your calendar and say, hey, from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m., Monday to Friday, I schedule 0 meetings. I don't care if the building is burning down. I am focused on only these things, right? And let it be known so that anyone who interacts with you knows that if they try and contact you between the hours of 9 and 11, you're unavailable. You're focusing on these things first. And when you can be really disciplined about building a schedule and a routine like that, you'll find that you are able to get a lot more stuff done.
I think you kind of covered that anyway. My here's DJ. Do you spend manage your clients' work as an agency owner? You want to know how many I spend in an average day? Zero. And that's with hundreds of clients, if you count legit customers as clients, and then my agency clients as well. I spend literally less than one. I'll put it that way. And some days, many days, it's zero. What about you?
Yeah, I'd say probably a max of one. I'm probably a little bit more hands-on with it, just based on some recent staff changes, but it's definitely in the realm of 1 hour a day.
Yeah, the doing is not really your job. Is kind of the summary there. I mean, you need to know how to do it, but you don't need to be the one to do it. I mean, do you think Jeff Bezos is like backing up boxes and putting them? I don't even know how Amazon works, but like stocking shelves and putting boxes on the truck? No, of course not. He probably doesn't even know where that shit is. So
yeah, I mean, his job really is decision making and vision.
Yeah,
right. It's having people in place. There are mid-level managers who understand everything below them, who understand the entire shipping process. His job is not to even understand that. It's just to talk to the manager and say, "Hey, everything good? Good. All right, cool. On to the next one."
Yeah, it's and even at that level, he probably makes like 3 or 4 decisions a year, and
Right.
like that's it. Great advice, Jim. Hello, boss. How are you? Nice, thanks, Jim. If you have any more questions about the event or about what Jim talked about today or anything else, let us know. We'll stick around for another 3 or 4 minutes, and then we're probably going to wrap up. Yeah, that's pretty much it, because it's already been a good 47 minutes that we've been here. Time flies when you're selling fries. If anybody, I'll tell you what, if anybody can tell me without Googling what movie that was a quote from, I will send you $20 on your 20 legit bucks to your account. So time flies when you're selling fries. If you can tell me what movie that came from without Googling it, and I will know, I'll send you 20 legit bucks. But my guess is that nobody's that much of a fucking loser that they knew that what that's from. Although Keith got it once before, so who knows? I feel like I missed something. Now let's do a quick rundown of this and of that, and let us know if you have any questions about the event. But September 13th, which is a Friday the 13th, we will be having our VIP party. The details of that should be up later today, because I think we finally finalized where that's going to be. We just need to figure out the time and stuff like that. But the details of that will be up later today. And then the conference will be on the 14th and 15th. We really need to get the hours on there. For whatever reason, people ask about that a lot. But it'll be roughly 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. We as an industry are not good at being on time. I certainly am. And I'm going to talk about that in a second, because I had a point to make that I forgot. Now I remembered it. But it'll be here in beautiful, somewhat beautiful Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. I've lived here all my life. So the gleam, what's the expression? The gleam is off the shine is up. I've seen it a lot. I don't remember the expression I'm trying to do. I shouldn't do that. But the agenda, what you'll learn. Day 1 is the VIP event. So that's really just a party and a meetup. Day 2, we've got, and again, this needs to be fleshed out a little more, because not all the speakers are on here yet, but we got Andrew Moles, Navneet Kaushal. You put all the difficult names back to back. I appreciate that. Kira Koroshlova, James Slattery, Randy Rohde, who is on right now, or at least was. Somewhere in there, we will also have Robbie Rizik, who is also here today. We got Eldar Cohen, who's one of our sponsors, as well as Robbie. We got Terry Samuels, Brian Wyndham, Gregory Ortiz, and then Jim. I'll be kind of hosting the whole thing, so you don't see my name there, because I'm going to be introducing everyone and keeping things moving, because I'm a control freak. But refreshments and lunch will be provided during the event. A lot of people have asked about that. So you won't have to go anywhere, although you certainly will be able to if you so choose. There's me, a terrible picture of me, but it's a picture nonetheless. And then there's Jim, who looks almost identical to what he does at the moment. We got Gregory Ortiz with his custom Gregory Ortiz Funko Pop that I got for him, by the way. And he will be speaking on client retention, I believe is his topic. So it's great to get clients. Everybody talks about that, and nobody talks about how to keep them. He'll bring that. We got Andrew Moles, who's going to be talking to you about TikTok ads. Andrew runs our paid media for Legiit, among other things. We got Eldar Cohen, who's one of our sponsors from Local Dominator. I don't know what his topic is going to be just yet. We've got Navneet Kaushal, who's going to be talking about SEO. I don't know the specifics, but Navneet's one of the best kept secrets in SEO, and we're going to change that. Brian Winham, who's going to be talking about Google authority or something like that. I forget exactly how he worded it. I guess we should put that on there too, huh? And then I got Michael Merlino. I haven't heard his topic yet. Terry, who will be talking to us about schema. Randy, who's in the crowd today, who will be talking about PR. Brock will be talking about something or another. James, I don't mean to be rude. I just don't know what he's going to be talking about. So I'm trying to keep things moving. James is going to be, Slattery is going to be talking about reputation management. We gave you a taste of that last week. That he's going to really give you the good shit, though. I don't know what Robbie's going to be talking about exactly. I think he will. Hopefully this will peer pressure him into it, since he's watching right now, into getting me a topic. Kira will be talking about international SEO. I don't know what Brian's going to be talking about, but we'll be hearing about that. The pricing, the executive package, and this is good through July 31st, which is my birthday, by the way. Happy birthday to me in advance. These prices will be good through July 31st, and they're going to go up a little bit. The executive package gets you access to Saturday and Sunday event. And it also gets you access to the thing that we're going to be unveiling. We don't really have that listed on here, but everybody that attends will get that. And then and that's $497. And the VIP package includes the same thing, but you also get the party the night before and anything else that we do. You'll get lifetime access to the Legiit dashboard. I mean, that's almost literally covers your cost right there. And that's the agency level. So that's $97 a month. So, do the math. Preferred seating, meaning you'll be able to sit wherever you want. You'll get a recording of the event afterwards. And I feel like there's something else I'm forgetting, but if it is, it's more than that. And that is $997. Both of those are fantastic prices. Here are our sponsors: Local Dominator, which is among other things, a Google Map Rank tracker, Map Pack Toolbox, which is a variety of Google Maps tools, Heartcore Growth, which is Jim's a web design and development agency and marketing agency, Superstar SEO, which is my SEO brand. The hotel is Island Vista Resort. It's a beautiful place. If you will follow me on Instagram, you've seen me walk by it a couple of times because it's just a few minutes from my home. It's wonderful. It's right on the beach. It's a really nice hotel. And if you mention Legiit SEO Conference Block 285661, because they had to make that as difficult to remember as possible, you'll get a bit of a discount. We have some rooms, but you do need to do that as soon as possible because they are running out. Myrtle Beach gets 14 million tourists a year, so it's constantly booked to capacity. So book your room as quickly as you can if you're going to make it. And if you're not going to make it, you're literally dead to me. Just kidding. But, you should make it regardless. The event is at a cool place called Pine Lakes Country Club. I have a personal connection to this place, so I'm going to tell you that story there. It's really cool. It's on a golf course. It has a nice ballroom. It's going to be, I wanted to do something a little different than just the standard hotel conference room, which there's nothing wrong with. But I just wanted to do something a little more unique. And the entertainment, Myrtle Beach is a great place to vacation, and we put up some links here that you can check out for that. The address to check this out is legitlive.com. I'll put that in the comments, in the chat, whatever. For most of it, it doesn't spit it out everywhere for some reason. I don't know why, but there you go. And if you're going to buy a ticket, you just come up over here, you click purchase now. Hopefully this doesn't fill in my credit card number and I have to delete this part later. Nope, good. All right, and then you just put in your information, put in your credit card, and place an order, and you'll get an email, and that's all you have to do. If for some reason you can't use a credit card and you need like PayPal or something like that, we do have it available through Legiit itself as well. So you can just find that on Legiit, or you can message support and they'll hook you right on up. And that's Randy says, yes, we're talking about PRs and what to do after you have the links. That's interesting because I don't know about anybody else, but I always get this nice report full of hundreds of PR links. And then I'm like, cool. Now what? Like, these look cool, but what do I do with it? So there you go. Even more reason to show up live at the event. And again, that is legitlive.com. Jim, do you want to add anything to that?
Other than the fact that I am personally looking forward to finding out that answer as well. No, I think you covered it pretty well.
Wonderful. So we will stick around for 1 or 2 more minutes. If there's any more questions or about the event or comments or anything about what Jim talked about or anything else we can help you with, let us know. Otherwise, we're going to wrap it up because we block aside an hour for this, and we are diligent about managing our time and making sure that we do things in the window that we guarantee. I made a post about that earlier today when I woke up at the ass crack of dawn, because I haven't been sleeping well this week, where I said that there's a cliche that 10 minutes early is actually on time. I was like, no, 10 minutes early is 10 minutes early. And anybody that says that thinks that they're trying to be punctual, but what they're actually saying is that they plan to waste 10 minutes fucking around with stuff that's not efficient, and that they have they're so undisciplined with their time that they have the time to screw around for 10 minutes. And so instead of like just getting right to they're on time and getting right to the thing that you're there for, they actually literally bake in 10 minutes to waste time, when what they should do was, if you say the appointment is 1 o'clock, is you get there at 1 o'clock and immediately start at 1 o'clock. And 1 o'clock, by the way, does not mean 12:59. It doesn't mean 1:01. It means 1 o'clock. And I know that level of precision is irritating to some people, but when your time becomes super valuable and you have to manage it as well as you possibly can, you need to be that precise with it. So if you're saying that I'm early, so I'm on time, I was like, no, you're wasting time and you're planning to waste time. So what you need to do is start being super specific and very, I don't know if demanding is the right word, but strict, I guess, with the people that it affects, and let them know that when you say 1 o'clock, you mean 1 o'clock. So there we go. Rabbi says, my topic will be, first part would be how Legiit was a turning point in my business journey, opening doors to invaluable industry relationships and partnerships that fueled my growth. Second part, how to automate many time-consuming tasks via tools that I built. Awesome. That sounds very interesting. And, if I'm being completely transparent, I like that it's a good commercial for me too. So win-win for everybody. So we need to find like a one sentence thing for that and then put that on the site too. I don't know exactly how you would explain that, but I'm sure we can figure it out. It's the truth, man. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. Seriously. You've been here with us from the beginning, and we certainly appreciate all your support and good faith. I'm out of breath. Talking fast. Somebody earlier was complaining that I talk fast. That's how I talk. But one downside of it is you do run out of breath a lot faster. So by the end of the event, I'm going to be never want to speak again. So, yeah, I think that's going to do it. Any last minute things you want to say, Jim?
No, that's it. I just look forward to seeing you there in person and getting the opportunity to sit and talk about life and work, time, work, life, harmony.
Okay.
That's the
so let me save Jim from that sentence. And I don't know if we're going to be back next week or not. I will have to work that out, because I'm going to be in Las Vegas next week. I did a live stream from that hotel before, so it should be good enough. It's the MGM Grand, for God's sake. The Wi-Fi should be good enough to do a live stream. So we'll work out the details on that. But one way or the other, we will be back very, very soon. I don't know. That's it. Thank you for watching. I know we talked about time today. I know your time is very valuable, and you have to choose how you spend it wisely. The fact that you deemed us worthy enough to spend some of it on today is something that I will never take for granted and will always appreciate. So thank you for that. Or as Jay-Z once said, you could have been anywhere in the world, but you're here with me. I appreciate that. And last but not least, figure out what you want out of life and go out and get it, because you owe it to yourself and you owe it to the world. We will see you again soon, and then we will see you in September in person. I'll talk to you then. Peace.